Alright guys, welcome back fellow nerds to another round, our third episode of our podcast. I am Brennan, with me are Smithy and Brenton. So today we're going to be talking about building on a budget. Making a deck that works, either casual, competitive, whatever really type of gameplay commander you want, but nice and cheap. So budget can mean dirt cheap cards, or it can just, mean just grabbing cards that aren't stupidly priced, but still reach a point where your funds don't go down the drain. Anything you guys would like to add for that one?
Just thinking.
So like anything to do with budget, I believe it's just finding cards that are a good substitute for an expensive card. So you got cards like Ristic Study that everyone wants, but not everyone can go out and buy one immediately or justify spending that kind of money purely just to have one card in their deck that draws them cards. So like good cards like Mystic Grimoire is a perfect example. For not even half the price of a Ristic Study, you can kind of have the same thing. Yeah, there is a bit more of a downside to it by having the accumulative upkeep, but you still get draw. You've also still got cards like Esper Sentinel that also still gives you draw and things like that as well. But just cheaper cards allowing you to still get the same result is like the most ideal situation when it comes to budget decks. Good cards like good cheap ramp spells like Cultivate, and just like base printing, nothing foil, nothing pretty, just easy slap into a deck just to give it a go. You've got definitely plenty of counter spells like Counterspell. You've got Dispute. You've got Annul. You got different things like that without having to go out and spending $100 to $200 on like a Force and Will or a Fierce Guardianship. There's definitely plenty of options to help you still achieve the same gameplay without having to break the bank and possibly put yourself in a position where one deck's worth more than the other, and you kind of finding it a bit hard to justify spending that much money.
Yeah. Budget cards to me are usually, the reason why they're usually so cheap is because they're fringe or they require to be built around a theme. Commonly like elf decks or merfolk decks or warrior decks. Like Tribal's very popular. Sometimes making treasure decks, things that care you making treasure all the time. There's budget alternatives for that.
Absolutely.
Milling.
you go away. You just mentioned like Mystic Grimoire as a draw alternate to Ristic Study.
Yep. There's
one that's fringe that won't draw as many cards, but can be played in a budget deck. It's really cheap. Underworld Connections.
Mm-hmm.
It's an enchantment that can enchant any land, and you can tap the land to draw a card. It'll make you lose a life, but it's an additional card a turn instead of tapping a land for mana.
Those good ramp spells. They're little enchantments. I believe you use a lot of them, Abundant Growth.
I love them so much.
Yeah.
Abundant.
Is it Abundant Growth?
Abundant Growth is one of them.
Yeah.
The other one is Utopial Sprawl, but it can be a little bit out of budget. They're around $5-6, and those ones require you enchant a forest. But if you're mostly forests, that it's not a problem on a budget.
Yeah. Absolutely. It definitely gives you it's a turn one play. You're still doing something each turn, and you're not having to wait 4 or 5 turns to be able to cast like a Cultivate if you don't hit your land drop.
All the 1-drop mana dorks, the elves,
Lanoir,
Elvish Mystic,
yeah. All those Finthorn elves, all those they're really dirt cheap.
Even like a Tireless Provisional, like land enters, you get a treasure. It's a nice cheap card. I think they're only like $8-9 at a time.
I don't even think they're that dear anymore. They got reprinted recently.
I know that there's a few that I've used. Like I use Lord of the Rings printing, space printing. It's like $6-7 at the moment.
Oh, that's still not bad.
But it doesn't even matter. Like, they're the cheap mana dorks in cost wise and converted mana cost. But it's also you could go for the higher converted mana cost mana dorks if you can't get any of these cards. It just depends on the gameplay, what your budget really is. Like, the three of us have made budget decks just as an example for you guys, we will actually have them in the comment or description of the video for either Spotify or YouTube, wherever you're watching. Thank you. And you can have a look and just see that it's possible to make a deck that works for about $150. That's what we've done. We've given ourselves the budget. Once again, I've gone the dirty route, milling, just because.
From now on, I'm just going to assume everything you talk about is mill.
Every deck, I'm gonna look at you and be like, so do I put my card in my graveyard or not?
I have my
you-
samurais.
Oh, and let me guess, it's a mill deck?
No, that's Alpha Swing. Smitty has played
Yeah.
it's just make them big, swing, lifelink.
Oh, what's that? I cast my commander where everything's already tapped, and now everything that's tapped can also block.
That has Bushido.
Yeah.
Sick.
Such an
Talk about a fringe mechanic.
Yeah. So
I was gonna say that deck could be pretty cheap too. Pretty easy and pretty.
it's about $2,000.
I was gonna say like that. Oh, you could build one for less.
Oh
than
yeah,
that,
easily. Yes.
Your one, yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely budget.
So my deck is Demir, based off Captain Garthrod. Enter card here. Nice little. It's actually a pre-con commander, which I've just made into my own. Horrors you control have Menace. Menace is an amazing mechanic. And whenever you deal damage to a player with a horror, they mill that many cards. And then I've added in your stuff like the water crystal, so whenever someone mills a card, they mill that many +4 instead. So, woohoo!
Yuck! Is that what the crystal does?
That's
Yes,
what the crystal
it
does.
Oh,
doubles
bro.
your mill.
I know the
Doubles your
white
mill
one,
and
you the red
blue
one.
spells are 1 less, I believe. We'll check here. Right here. Yep, blue spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill that many +4 instead.
Yuck.
And then you can pay 4 and 2 blue, tap it. Each opponent mills cards equal to the number of cards in my hand.
Ugh.
So I've also got stuff like Ob Nixilis.
Yep.
+1, draw 1, lose 1 life.
Yep.
So everyone's going to be milling, and it's just going to be fantastic.
It's group hug. It's group hug.
Group hug! In the bad way.
It's group hug. It's group hug.
No one gets
what's
cards.
That? You don't have a library? Oh no.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, but probably just to mention also, there are staple cards for CDH which you can get that are nice and cheap. Your Arcane Signet, Sol Ring, Felwar Stone.
Talismans usually
yeah.
around $5 a number.
Yep.
Talismans are a great card. I know everyone sees them in pre-cons and they're like, oh, that's a terrible card. I'd rather own a Mox.
Yeah,
Like
And you're
sometimes
just like-
even the artifact, the green versions are even worth it, depending if you want
Yeah.
artifacts.
Yeah, like
even your
I
key
ran...
rings, your signets, they're good
Yeah.
cards.
I ran a lot of the signets in the earlier days before I started spending as much money as I do on Magic. And I look back at those decks and I'm like, oh, I was like, cool. You know, for the price of, one Chromox, a base normal printing of a Chromox is like 150 to 200, depending on where you are, depending on the condition and whatever else. You could buy 4, 5, 6 very pretty looking like signets that you can have in your deck that does the same thing and still achieve the same outcome without having to slam that price tag on it. It's definitely something that I definitely recommend for anyone that is looking for that little bit of extra mana that doesn't want to spend an arm and a leg and half their, first child to be able to build a deck. It's definitely coming to that point with these newer precons coming out.
Yeah, so as I said, I've built my little cheap mill deck just because I'm disgusting. Brenton, what have we got for your cheap deck?
Oh, I brought back from exile, I should say. Commander I talked about previously on the channel, Saona, captain of the, was it?
Peleus?
Peles, I think it is.
Yep, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. So,
It's right here. It's right here, guys.
I can't say that. I have no idea how to say that. So, it's a very weird commander because you don't think it's powerful because off the bat, it's an uncommon commander. Most commanders are rare or mythic at least. I mean, no one looks at uncommon cards, right?
No.
This one, 2/2 for a 3-drop in green and white. And she has 2 weird effects. When she enters, you look at the top few cards of your library and pick an aura card from among them. put it in the hand, and the rest go in the bottom order, right? So off the bat, you can tell this is a theme deck all about auras, right? But then there's the other effect, which is what the deck is all built around. Whenever an aura you control becomes targeted, becomes attached to a creature you control, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Now, so if I play an aura to attach to one of my lands to provide more mana, like Wild Growth, I make a dude. I play an aura to pacify some, so some can't attack or block. I make a dude. I mean, that's already good, but there is one key enchantment that breaks this deck in half, which is why I built the deck around. I'm just going to bring it up.
Is it that Nature's one?
No, on to the enchantment section.
All I hear when I hear your deck is like, oh, this is my commander. It's very friendly. And then like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I cast Light Paws. And you're just like, what? You cast what? I cast Light Paws. I cast an enchantment that attaches to it. I create a dude, but I have to go look for another enchantment and still repeat this process.
Funnily enough, I haven't put Light Paws in the deck because this is not purely auras for creatures.
Oh, yeah, but like that's the first thing I hear. And you're like, oh, benefit from putting auras on stuff?
So the card that stands out in this deck with Sayona is Shielded by Faith. A 3-drop in white that gives the enchanted creature indestructible. Now, this is the key part. It has its own triggered ability. Whenever a creature enters this battlefield under your control, you may attach Shielded by Faith to that creature.
Bounce.
So with Sayona, it sees it's being attached, so it will make a creature. Then Shielded Faith will see it again. This deck can commonly generate infinite number of white soldiers turn 3 to turn 5.
All you need is a sack burn outlet to just pop.
Well, that's the beautiful thing. Because auras, white is famous for aura tutors. There are so many aura tutors on a budget. Like you've got Heliod's Pilgrim, Moonblessed Cleric, Boonweaver Giant, 6-drop Giant, no one ever questions, and then a very fringe one, Aura Touch Mage. All those are under $1 each, and they can tutor for an aura and even put it onto the battlefield.
All I hear is like Crater Hoof echoing into the distance, or like Concordant Crossroads giving all creatures haste, being like, oh, I have like 700 of these dudes, and everyone's like, oh, you don't have haste. You're like, oh, 1 green, Concordant Crossroads.
That's disgusting.
Unfortunately, Concordant Crossroads is not budget friendly. The cheapest version out there, especially here in Australia, it's like $30-40.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh.
Like, I mean, the deck also has some creatures that do similar effects, and with the presence of Gond, how you make a dude.
Such a good card.
Where you tap the creature to make a dude.
Creates an elf.
Elf warrior. Yeah. There are effects in this deck that will just help that creature infinitely untap itself, so you can make dudes as well. So you don't even need Sayona.
I'd put in like the Soul Sisters. Anytime a creature enters the battlefield, you gain a life.
I believe we've got a few in here.
And you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna gain all this life. And then everyone looks at you like, commander damage, everyone? Yeah, focus in for commanders? Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so we're targeting Brenton. I'm no longer a threat.
Yeah, your milling does not help in this circumstance.
No. So, obviously we've got yours is enchantment / aura based to go infinite, which is still disgusting. Smitty, what have we created that is, semi-budget wise?
I'm a big fan of a card called Neheb the Eternal. So this card is mono red. This deck is mono red. So in my second main phase, up until second main phase, if you receive any damage, whether it be non-combat damage or combat damage, as soon as it gets to my second main phase, I get X red mana, where X is the number of life that everyone has lost up until that point. It is a fantastic card, and I pair it with a card that you can have as many as you damn well please. Dragon Approach. My favourite card that I've ever played. It was my first deck I ever built. It allows for a great opportunity to sit there and not be told that you're focusing someone because it is purely AoE damage. Everyone cops it other than you. So the card reads out, it's 1 red, 2 colourless. You cast it, it deals 3 damage to each opponent. That's all it does. Very easy. And at the bottom of the card it says you can have any number of them in the deck. So you run cards, about 20 of them. You can have about 30, which is what I usually use. About 25 to 30. You can have less, depending on what you like to have in the deck. It pairs, all those Dragon Approaches pair with one card. It's called Thrumming Stone. This card, every time you cast a spell, it has Ripple 4. So you reveal the top 4 cards. If you hit another Dragon Approach, you do it again. And then again. And then again.
Each one.
Each one
Dragon
revealed,
Approach, you just go and go and go and go. When you have 30 of them, you know, you hit your 10th one, and everyone's just like, oh, yeah, I've already lost, like, a lot of life. And you're like, well, I'm going to keep going, brother. Like,
until you're dead in the ground.
But, like, there's a lot of cheap cards that are really good for the deck. The Gutter Snipes. It is an instant, it is a sorcery. But Gutter Snipe sits there and goes, oh, ping you for damage, ping you for your damage, ping you for damage. And if you sit there and you have enough copy spells, or you run a lot of cards similar to Gutter Snipes, you're not just doing 3 damage per person, you're doing 5 per damage, 5 damage per person. And then you've got cards like Fiery Emancipation, 3 times as much damage.
Gratuitous Violence, which is a cheaper version.
Yeah, you've got so many cards that out there that amplify damage. And by turn 5, turn 6, you can have a very good hand and pop off and win. There's cards like Locket of Yesterday. It's a very old card. I struggle to find one. It makes your card, this spell, cost one less for each number of cards with the same name in your graveyard. So, say you cast your first one, Thrumming Stone's out. You don't hit a Thrumming Stone. You don't hit another Dragon Approach. Oh well, no worries. It's in your graveyard, so instead of paying 3 again, you pay 2. You pay 1 red, 1 colourless. Try again. And then, oh no, that didn't work, that's a real shame. Put it in your graveyard. What's that? 1 red? Brother, it's turn 5. I've got a lot of red. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
And it just pops off. But there is a lot of cards in that deck that aren't realistically budget friendly, which can slow the deck down if you're not willing to put in that money. Like cards that I definitely recommend, like Ancient Copper Dragon, purely for the fact you net treasures. You net red mana, whether you're dealing damage to someone, whether you're using those treasures to cast Dragon Approaches. It's not budget friendly, but the good version of it is Goldspan Dragon. It's about $15. It is still higher, $15 realistic when it comes to budget. It is a bit much, but ETB creates a treasure that taps.
And your treasures all tap for double?
Yeah, taps for an additional, yes. So, like, you use that, you swing with it, and just try and use it to do as much damage as you can, netting positive mana both in treasures and in damage. It's very efficient, very turbo. However, it does suffer to a lot of red. Because unfortunately, there is no real cards that allow me to protect myself from blue that are budget friendly.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, Shamil is not quite that cheap yet. Hopefully soon it will be.
It's very... Goldspan is a very, very fun card.
It's just sad that it's so expensive for the average player. It does come in a lot of precons though.
It's in my Raggy deck, which is worse.
Yeah, it's such a good card for $15. Like, you can't go wrong. It's a 4/5 flyer. Yeah. You're spending, I think it is 5 mana.
It's 5. It's 2 red and 3.
Yeah.
Flying haste.
Like, yeah, it's got haste. That's the part that matters. It's the fact that you cast it, immediately you're getting treasures, and then you're attacking, getting, more treasures, and you're just like, oh, cool, I'm ramping in red.
That's an instant 4 mana right there, just from entering and attacking.
Does it actually generate a treasure on enter?
I'm pretty sure it does.
When it enters and attacks.
I don't think, when it gets targeted.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, when it becomes targeted of a spell, and it... The crazy thing is, it's of any spell, not just an opponent.
It's when it attacks, sorry. Yeah,
so you can target it as well to make treasure.
Yeah, but you just sit there and you're just like, I'm going to buff it. I'm going to make a copy of it. Oh, what's that? It's getting targeted.
Ping, 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 ping.
I'm going to continue doing this. And there's so many great cards in red that allow you to just recast cards.
Storm.
Yes, like there's Storm mechanics. Riona's a nice, good card. I believe when she moves to combat, for the number of instant and sorceries you've cast this turn, you create that many copies of a target creature. Imagine that on, a Goldspan Dragon. Perfect. Oh, what's that? I move to combat. Bang. I now have 12 of these dudes. They all have haste. Swing with you. It is fantastic.
That's 24 mana just sitting in your pocket just from those attacking.
Absolutely. But
Amazing.
again, unfortunately,
It's a lot.
it is $15, and if you're not willing to spend that kind of money for it, it is something that is a bit hard to get the deck functioning without that. However, rocks, like we said, do come into effect. Having your talismans and your Soul Rings and your Arcane Signets, just to put yourself that little bit ahead, can sometimes get you there.
Cool.
I'd like to make a point. You mentioned Neheb. So Neheb is mono red, correct?
Correct.
I mean, that goes into a good segue that a lot of good budget commanders are monocolor because land base is usually a majority of the budget. A good land base.
Yeah, absolutely. My other budget deck that I usually run is Bears. Eula.
Bear Force 1?
No, not Bear Force 1. Unfortunately. No, not Cocaine Bear either.
I think that runs one bear.
Yeah, it is the bear. That's using Wilson.
Yeah.
Eula, anytime another bear enters, it gets a 1/1 counter. Or it can fight something. Any bear can fight something on ETB of another bear. It is very cheap. It is hard to track down bear cards. It's the only reason I don't recommend it as a quick first ever budget deck, because the bear cards are hard to find. They are.
I mean, they're not expensive. They're just hard to find.
Yeah, they're just hard to find. There wasn't many printed, unfortunately. I hope that they soon, start bringing more out in Secret Lairs and do make that a bit more accessible, because I think having more bears to allow for Bear Force 1s and Eula and Wilson to really become a tribal effect would be fantastic. But unfortunately, it's just one of those things that Magic doesn't like us having. It's just nice things.
So going off budget, you can have an expensive commander. Like looking here, I found out that my tribal samurai deck, the commander has actually gone up.
Yeah.
She was a $1.50 card when I built that deck.
Yeah.
She's now $31.
Whoop.
Woohoo!
That's a jump.
So she's Masako the Humorless.
Yep.
You may play her anytime you can play an instant, so she's got flash. As Smitty said, tapped creatures I control may block as though they weren't tapped. So in a samurai deck with Bushido, which you can really make a very cheap samurai deck, even if she's not your commander, alpha swing, ginormous amounts, lifelink, there's certain things that give everything +1/+1. It's a very fun deck that I've made, but I can swing, get all that life. Oh no, I'm wide open.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Yep, block, even more life.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for coming. And then, if you want to be really rude about it, it's not budget, but Aetherflux Reservoir with that deck would not be nice.
Absolutely. Aetherflux is a card that is 4 mana. Every time you cast a spell, you gain a life, and it's a cumulative. So you cast one spell, you cast your second spell, you gain 2 life, and then 3 life, and then 4 life, and so on and so forth. And then once you have more than 50 life, you can decide to pay 50 life and absolutely, just remove someone from existence. There is a lot of combos with it. You have your Bolas Citadel combo with Senseis. You've got Mystic Forge that also is the same thing. If you can't run black, it's purely colourless all the way through.
But a majority of those cards are expensive.
Relatively expensive. Yeah, they're relatively expensive, which is the unfortunate thing. But to round it off, if you're looking to build a deck that under a budget and you want to be able to find those cards relatively easily, Tribal. Tribal is definitely the way to go. You've got plenty of options. You've got merfolk, you've got squirrels, you've got elves, you've got dinosaurs, you've got dragons.
Probably try to stick to mono.
Oh, absolutely.
There's some tribal decks that do branch off into dual color and sometimes try.
Yeah.
But the benefit with
They're
the dual
all
color
still
ones
cheap.
Yeah, they provide like the mana base and such to help because they're focused purely for that creature type.
Absolutely. Good examples would
Like
be like Chatterfang.
Wonderwine Hub. It comes in untapped. You reveal a Merfolk from your hand and it taps a blue or white.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
I mean, there's stuff like that out there for the tribal decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't be stressed about trying to find the most amazing cards. Find cards that synergize, that are still cheap. Do what you're going after, and then that way, you're not going to be broke. You're not going to be eating meagerang for the rest of the year. You know, you'll actually be able to enjoy the game.
Hey, meagerang's pretty good though.
Yeah, yes. It is. But you'll be able to enjoy yourself with your friends, and, you know...
It allows you to have an opportunity to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You can edit the deck as you go. The more money you gain access to, or if you find that you have this card and you come across a prettier copy of it, and you want to be able to swap it out, you have it there. If you don't, you don't. You still have a deck that you can play, whether you go down on a Friday night to Magic, or a Wednesday night, or a Monday night. It doesn't matter. You can always sit down with that deck knowing that you have a complete deck. It's completely there. Everything's fine. No one's got any beef with you because it's budget. You're not going out of the way to build a deck to spite anyone. You're building a deck purely to enjoy this hobby that we all enjoy.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about whether or not, as Brendan said, you're not gonna worry about having to, put some money aside so you can eat. It's definitely a good way to start Magic as a new player, and even as a seasoned player. Like if you're looking for something new, we do have Pauper decks, which is our cheaper version of competitive, which you can.
It feels like a breath of fresh air
when
you're restricted on a budget. You look at new strategies you never thought before.
It becomes more of a mind game. It's very much more, everything's calculated, everything's planned out, every card has a purpose, but that's something we'll address later on.
There's one thing I'd like to mention. A lot of people, and specifically new people starting in Magic, they can't usually find budget cards because they're only seeing the most recent stuff, and everyone's after the most recent stuff. A very common resource I would recommend is edhrec.com.
Absolutely.
You can look up commanders all over that, hundreds of thousands of deck lists. You can actually find your commander, and there's a budget button. You can actually select lowest budget, and it will give you a list of all these budget cards throughout Magic's history that suit the deck that people are using.
Yes.
I've found stuff in there I didn't even know existed.
Absolutely.
And I'm a veteran.
Yeah, so obviously we've given you guys a bit of information. As we've stated before, these are our opinions. We're not saying we're super amazing at this game. We're not...
Speak for yourself.
Alright, just Smitty and I.
We're the bad ones.
Right. So don't stress. Trade people. Go to your LGS. Find budget cards that synergize with stuff that you want to do. And just try to have fun. But I think that is probably the best amount of info we can give you for building a budget deck.
Don't be afraid to ask people for bulk either. Like, we're all seasoned players. We've all been playing for multiple years. I have thousands of cards, and half of them are worth 25 cents. But a lot of them are cards that people are now looking for because new sets come out with new cards. That card, as your commander example, you got it when it was like $1. Now it's $30. Like, what now could be $2 in 5 years or 6 months with how the Magic's going? It could be worth more. Don't feel ashamed and don't feel like you looking through someone's unwanted cards as their bulk is a bad thing. You find hidden gems. I bought bulk for $100 and I pulled nearly $2,000 out of it because they didn't know what was in it. They didn't care. They were just like, oh, it's old cards. I don't care. Yep. Always take the time to have a look through, even your local LGS, if they have bulk laying around. If you finished a tournament and someone's opened a pack and you're like, hey, do you want any of those cards? I'd happily buy them from you, or like, I'll trade you something if I find something that gets in there. It's always a good opportunity, so that way you're not having to buy everything online, you're not having to pay for postage. Yep. Like, having good connections and good friendships to allow you to have access to large collections of cards is fantastic. Doesn't matter what format you're in. Doesn't matter what position you're in, competitive wise or not. It is always a good opportunity to be able to just see cards you didn't know existed, like Brenton just said.
Yeah, but it's as you said, like playing a game, in just your tournaments or Friday Night Magic, which is generally at your LGS. A lot of the time, people will open up the booster, and even the rare, they don't want it. They leave it on the table. If they've walked away and they've left it on the table,
It's still good to ask around.
Yeah,
Is this
ask-
chaff?
ask around if it's chaff. Does someone want this? There's nothing embarrassing about getting those cards, especially if the person is more than happy to give them to you.
Yeah.
So it's
Everyone's
always
got to
ask.
start somewhere.
Yeah, and
That's what it is.
if by chance you end up seeing us out and about playing cards or something, have a chat with us. I'm sure we'd probably sit there and throw you a couple of cards. Like it's not going to hurt. A lot of people will do it. So I think that probably wraps us up with building on a budget.
Definitely.
But thank you very much again for stopping by, and we will see you next time for another round.
Cheers.
Cheers.